Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the channel. I'm Alex Hubbard, and I'm an automotive enthusiast.
Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me.
Today we're going to be working on the 2015 Dodge Dart again. We're going to work on getting the rear bumper cover off, and then we're going to probably push it outside, get the front door off, and see how I have to push it outside to get it out, to get the door off, because I don't have room. My toolboxes are in the way. So we're going to push it out, probably push it outside as long as it's not raining, get the door off, and really assess what's going on with that rocker panel. Might pull the front passenger seat out as well, so that we can get all the trim off behind the B pillar and check things there, make sure everything looks good. We won't be touching the glass today. I've got to get some more tools. I haven't had a chance to order the rest of the tools to get or the correct tools to get the quarter panel glass and the rest of the back glass out. Once we do that, the car will pretty much be ready to cut the quarter panel off of it and see how things look underneath and get anything fixed, and then begin the process of ordering the quarter panel. I did check with East Coast Moparts. I'll put the link in the description or in the comment section. I checked to see, because they're the ones I'll probably end up buying the uniside from, and it takes, I think, 1 to 2 days after I order it for them to order it, and it's going to come freight because it's pretty much the whole half side of the car. Once we get that in, we can start putting things back together and work on MIGging up the new quarter panel, priming, painting, and all that stuff. So we're almost to the point where the car is fully apart. We should be there by the end of today. Again, 19 millimeter. I don't use the torque wrench. I don't use the impact gun on these guys, or I try not to. Holy cow, that's on there. All right, guys, so we finally got the back tire off. I spent some time fighting with it. These lugs are sometimes miserable to get off if they've never been off before. They're 19 millimeters. However, they have, you can see this metal cover around it, and sometimes if people have tried to get them off before and rounded them, they don't exactly fit in the socket appropriately, which is the case with these guys, and you can see it's pretty chewed up. So what I ended up doing was taking the socket and taking my hammer and just driving it on there, and then breaking it with the breaker bar and a long pipe on the end of the breaker bar. That happens sometimes with these types of studs. So now we'll work on at least pulling this side of the wheel well out so that we can get the bumper cover off and access all the bolts behind the wheel well. Okay, so we're going to pull this panel out at least from here forward so that we can get into the back bumper cover here and undo all of this, and then we'll move over to the other side and do the same thing. We've already got the liner, the wheel well liner, out on the other side. We've just got to do it over here just so we can get to the bolts and stuff back here. These are 10 millimeter bolts. Pull those out, or nuts rather. These are 8 millimeter bolts, and then we'll have to go get our trim sticks and pull some pins out there. Alright, to get this back bumper cover off, there's a bolt way back there on the bottom we've got to pull out. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. There's one right here, and there's one way back there. They're all about 10 millimeter bolts. Well, they all are 10 millimeter bolts. And then hopefully this side should be free to come off. Alright, you know what? We don't have to take this bolt off here for this bracket. We'll just pull the... Right. So this side's loose. Underneath we've got to go in and put this guy back there so we don't lose it. Underneath we've got to go take some bolts off here. So under here we can work on taking these bolts off here. Actually, I don't even know that we need to do those. We should just be able to do these guys here. These are also 10 mil bolts. Now the bumper cover should come off. The wiring harness here. And the bumper cover is off. All right, so we got the rear bumper cover off the car. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna clean up a little bit. I'm gonna put the tires back on it. We're gonna hope that it starts, because remember, this car has some funky starting issues which we need to work out that are related to the TCM module, or the transmission control module. Once we do that, we're gonna roll it back outside and start taking the passenger front door off, probably take the passenger seat out, and pull all the trim on the interior side so we can expose the back side of the B panel, a B pillar, so that we can see what we're working with, make sure everything looks good, and that'll be probably it for the day. I've got to order some tools to get the rest of the glass out. Up here and reconnect my battery. On the way here. No start. Kind of what I figured. So we've got the Dart out of the garage. The primary goal today is to get this door off and get the inner trim off, get the seat out, so we can really look at what's going on here with the uniside of the car and the quarter panel. Basically, once we get all this apart, we'll have to still get the glass out, and then we can start cutting the quarter panel out. Once we do that, there is some damage to the inner wheel well. We'll have to either pull it or replace it, and then we can start putting it back together. Way, put the screw back in its place. All right, try this again. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is take this door kick off here. This is what keeps the door from swinging all the way out. It's a T40 bolt. There we go. Now in the last car, I pulled the fender off to get the front door off. I'm not going to do that today. We're gonna just take a ratchet or a wrench and pull the pins on the door here. We'll get to that at another point. Right now my goal is just to get the door off and be able to start to assess, and start to work on the 15mm wrench here. Oh, there we go. Break these loose. Just put the jack under the door just to balance it. That's what the jack is there for. And again, we don't totally care about this door because it's completely damaged, but there are some parts I want off of it, so we don't want to destroy it either. We'll just pull this guy off a little bit here. We'll pull this rubber piece off a little bit here. Actually, you may want to grab your trim sticks instead of using these guys. That's probably a better idea here, so we don't damage this. So what we need to do is pull this rubber boot off, like so. Now it's off. And then, just like in the other video, we've got to get this harness out here by squeezing these 4 tabs. Now we can take our a flathead. We'll press this button. We'll pop that up, and there we go. Now the door is completely off the car. We can take any parts we want off. All right, let's get this door off the jack before it falls. We want the mirror off of it. There's a bunch of odds and ends we'll take off of it because we can either reuse them or sell them later. So the next step for me will be to get the rest of the tools to get this glass out. You can see this guy's almost out, but I don't want to break it. I have a feeling, unfortunately, I am probably going to have to replace this glass because I've never taken glass out before, but I tried it and I ruined what I believe is the molded gasket on the side of it. So I will probably end up having to get a new back piece of glass anyway, which sucks, but you live and you learn. So I need to get the tools to get the rest of this out, and I need to get the tools to get this quarter panel glass out. We'll probably pull the fender off because I'm definitely going to have to fix that rocker because that was part of the insurance appraisal report. And I will have to figure out how to take this piece off here. It's riveted in. We'll probably just drill the rivets out and take it off because the seam for the quarter panel is right here. We'll be getting a little belt sander to help remove these spot welds, and then there's also a tool that I'm going to get that will remove the not body filler, but the I can't think of it off the top of my head. The seam sealer. Seam sealer is a special, it's like a right angle wire wheel that'll remove the seam sealer. So we'll do that. We should be able to start, getting this apart some more and see the rest of the damage to the inner wheel well here. It's pushed in. I think we'll be able to straighten that. I don't think it's too bad. There's definitely some damage here on the B pillar, but again, it's just in the sheet metal. I think we can probably pull it and straighten it with the the tools that I've got. We might have to figure this piece out here. I'm not sure what we'll do about that. So up here, I'm not really interested in replacing the entire rocker, so if we can straighten this a little bit and get it to come back out. I'm not sure if I have the capability to do that. We'll try it and see, and that'll be a lot of the sheet metal work on this car. So made a lot of good progress today, but there's still a lot to go. This is probably more than I bargained for starting this process, but it's good content for the channel, and I'm learning a ton by doing this. So whether it's all worth it in the end for this particular car, probably not. I probably could have just went and bought a Dart and been done with it. And, for the amount of time and money that I have between the two cars. However, the knowledge that I have gained out of this, this project is, to me, it's priceless. Being able to learn how to do some of this stuff and, apply it to, a car that's worth more later on down the road, or you know, if I come across something I really want to restore later on, it's worth it to mess around with this car for me first, and then you know, to kind of teach myself on make mistakes with, etc. So and I've got to go look at the other car. I pulled the plug here on this rocker panel, and it's full of foam, like expanding foam. I'm not sure why. I got to look at the other car and see if that's factory or not. It seems kind of weird. So there's no rust in the car other than from the damage where the paint's missing. So it wouldn't make sense to have filler, you know, foam in there. So anyway, guys, if you like the content that I've been putting out lately, you like these videos, especially the Dart and all the other kind of how-to projects I've been working on, please like and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any videos, and you can also follow along on social media.